Thom Hartmann here on the news. You need to know this. The race-baiting and hyper-paranoid conspiracy theories continue from the three amigos in the Republican Party. Senators John McCain, Lindsey Graham, and now Kelly Ayotte continued their attacks against our UN Ambassador Susan Rice on Tuesday after the three met with her in a closed-door meeting. Republicans are accusing Rice of purposefully misleading the American people in the days after the Benghazi attack, when she gave several interviews based on CIA intelligence that's now been found to be untrue. Senator McCain and others contend that Rice was involved in a White House conspiracy to cover up the fact that the Benghazi attacks may have been an act of terrorism. In reality, though, the fog of war is most likely responsible for the CIA getting intelligence wrong in the days after the attack. But just like they've done with the president, Attorney General Eric Holder, and Van Jones, all African Americans, Republicans are smearing the reputation of Susan Rice to scuttle her potential nomination as Secretary of State. Curiously, Graham and McCain were nowhere to be found, with Colin Powell and Condoleezza Rice lying to Congress and the UN about weapons of mass destruction in the lead-up to the war in Iraq. This is all manufactured hyperventilation. Republicans want John Kerry to be Secretary of State instead of Susan Rice, so that Kerry will have to leave his Massachusetts Senate seat, and Republican oligarchs like Sheldon Adelson and the Koch brothers can buy it back for Scott Brown. This is nothing more than machine politics by Republicans who have no problem exploiting a tragedy overseas that killed a U.S. ambassador. In screwed news, the Stand Your Ground law strikes again in Florida. This past weekend, 17-year-old Jordan Russell Davis was shot and killed as he sat in a sport utility vehicle after yelling back at 45-year-old Michael David Dunn. According to the Orlando Sentinel, Davis was sitting in the vehicle with several other friends when Dunn pulled up and asked Davis to turn down the music. Words were exchanged, and Dunn pulled out a gun and fired 9 shots into the vehicle, killing Davis. Dunn was arrested and charged with murder. However, he is claiming self-defense, meaning Florida's controversial Stand Your Ground law could play a factor in the case. As was the case 9 months ago in Florida when Trayvon Martin was shot and killed as a result of the Stand Your Ground law, Davis is also an African American. The shooter, Dunn, is white. In Florida, 70% of those who invoke Stand Your Ground end up walking away scot-free, and 73% of those who kill a black person and invoke Stand Your Ground end up walking scot-free. These laws were written by the American Legislative Exchange Council, known as ALEC, which receives some of its funding from the Koch brothers. And the law's intended purpose is to give legal cover to gun retailers like Walmart when their weapons are used to kill people. But as we've seen in Florida twice now in the past 9 months, when corporations write our laws, public safety is the loser. We must repeal these laws which legalize race-related murders. In the best of the rest of the news, have you noticed the large number of CEOs going on TV to give their opinions on how to fix the debt crisis? Last week, it was Goldman Sachs CEO Lloyd Blankfein who suggested raising the retirement age for Social Security and Medicare. Aetna CEO Mark Bertolone also argued for raising the retirement age and means testing Social Security and Medicare benefits. In fact, 71 CEOs have joined together as part of a Fix the Debt coalition to call for cuts to social safety net programs instead of higher taxes on rich people like themselves. And as the Institute for Policy Studies discovered, there's good reason why these CEOs want to target social safety nets like Social Security. It's because they don't need them. They're all sitting on massive retirement assets averaging over $9 million each. Lloyd Blankfein himself has nearly $12 million in retirement assets. It's easy to call for cuts to Social Security when you know you won't need it. Yes, it's true we don't have an arrogant and effete royal family in America like they do in Britain, but the British royal family are paupers compared to America's billionaires. And they're now pushing to further cut retirement income and health care for working-class Americans while sitting on hundreds of millions for themselves. Sometime soon, Americans will begin to revolt against this Reaganomics-created billionaire Republican royalty. Leave it up to the Republican Party to put a climate change denier in charge of the House Science and Technology Committee. On Tuesday, the Republican House leadership unveiled their recommendations for committee chairman, and Representative Lamar Smith is set to take the gavel and handle all things science-related. Smith is a consistent denier of man-made climate change and has attacked the media for reporting on climate change. This isn't a huge change in the House, as Smith replaces the previous Republican chairman of the Science Committee, Ralph Hill, who was also a climate change denier. It also shouldn't surprise us that Lamar Smith is set to join 11 other Republican men who will head up the major committees in the House. every single one of them a white male. No word yet if Smith agrees that the world is 6,000 years old and flat. And finally, an audit of the Kabul bank in Afghanistan finds rampant fraud and crony capitalism. The audit reveals that since 2001, as much as $900 million were funneled out of the bank and into the hands of a small political elite, all with close ties to Afghan President Hamid Karzai. As the New York Times reports, for many Afghans, the scandal surrounding Kabul Bank, a linchpin of the economic order established here by Americans and their allies, has cemented the opinion that the United States brought crony capitalism, not free markets, to Afghanistan, end quote. And we wonder why the Middle East is so wary of Western-style politics and capitalism. Looking at the corrupt global financial system that unregulated capitalism has created, who would want to be part of it other than corrupt politicians and banksters? And that's the way it is today, Wednesday, November 28th, 2012. I'm Thom Hartmann on the News.